Good morning, everyone. We are going to be doing another really long walk. So I guess the question is, where am I now, and where are we going? So we're going to be walking all the way down to Grand Army Plaza. So that is the route. And that's the map, by the way. That is where we're going. This is going to be another 6-mile walk. So the first leg of the walk, the first major leg of this walk, is going to be the complete length of 15th Avenue, which is where we are right now. And that's 3 miles right there. So that's pretty much half of the walk will be spent on 15th Avenue. We will then eventually make our way onto Dahill Road. We'll take Dahill. Got some horn beeping behind me. It looks like that white van was beeping at a car that actually went through a red light. But anyway, we're going to be taking this down to Dahill Road. We're going to then get onto Dahill and go down to Fort Hamilton Parkway. Then we're going to get Fort Hamilton Parkway over to Prospect Park in the same, in the same area where we ended the Ocean Parkway walk. But from that point, we're going to continue on. And we're going to walk around Prospect Park. We're going to go up, I guess you could say the southwest side or south side or whatever you want to call that. And then we're going to hook up the western side of the park. And from there we will go into Grand Army Plaza. So this is going to be a long one. I will, like the last walk, I will yell out the miles as we hit the mileage each mile, and we'll throw it up on the screen, and I'll have timestamps in the video. This is my first walk since Easter Sunday. I did that Staten Island walk and then took almost a week off, which is usually the case for me when we get to Easter. Easter's like a week where I take off right after and just relax and rest up the legs. And I didn't really do any walking this week, like even off camera. I think this is my first walk since, so I'm recording this on Friday, so I'm trying to think here. You know what? Monday, I did do some walking on Monday, so that was the last time. Actually, Wednesday, I did some walking. So, I've only been off a couple days as far as off-camera walking. So we are right now in the Bath Beach We're in the Bath Beach slash Dyker Heights area. And we're going to be walking through, we're going to be cutting through like Bensonhurst, Borough Park, Kensington, and then you got the Prospect Park neighborhoods over there, whatever they are. I don't care. We're going to Prospect Park, guys. That's really all you need to know, right? We'll try to have a walk where we're not waiting for any lights. This part of the walk, the 15th Avenue walk, part of the walk shouldn't be... We shouldn't have to worry about lights too much. Except we got 86th Street coming up. Alright, so we have 86th Street, then we have Bay Ridge Parkway. So there'll be some intersections where you gotta wait for lights. I'll try to time it. I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes secret hack that I do. So right now I'm looking at 86th Street. Light is red, which means it's gonna turn green probably in a few moments here, right? So I know I'm not gonna obviously make that light. So what I start to do is I start to slow down a bit. And I kind of time the light. So the light will go green and then it'll go red again, and that's how I generally try to time it. I try to slow down. Because I'm either going to slow down or I'm going to have to stop. It looks like I'm going to have to stop because this light is not even changing. Then it gets into, oh, you think you can make the light, but on a walk like this, I'm not trying to pick up the pace just for traffic lights. I gotta pick and choose my battle. So there goes. The light is green. And I'll slow down now. Because I know I'm not gonna make the light. Totally useless commentary, guys. Gotta fill in the details in my special brain. I have a special mind. I used my mind for over 25 years for programming equations and building out computer systems and all technical stuff, and now it's filled in trying to calculate when the traffic light's going to turn green. Yeah, that's what I've decided to downgrade my brain to. Alright, here we are, 86th Street. And we're gonna get stuck here for a moment. So you got the Auto Zone, you got Outback. This used to be, back in the day when I was a kid, this used to be the lumber yard. It was called Mar Lumber. And the building itself, I was gonna go, but I can't. There's got a lot of traffic over there. The building itself is still the same. The outside, except for the like the add-ons, like the awning and the Outback sign and everything. But the actual brick, I mean, it still looks the same. With the brick on top and like the siding on the bottom. And we would come in here, a lot of times we would come in here to get like plywood and 2x4s to build skateboard ramps and stuff. 6 miles. And then when I get over to Grand Army Plaza, I'll be shooting some extra strides walking. For the members in the channel, if you are a channel member, you know you guys will get an extra strides episode. I have no idea where I'm going to do extra 15 to 20 minutes of walking though. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll do walk up Flatbush Avenue. I usually release the Extra Strides member video about a day later, or maybe 12 hours later. You guys could support the channel by hitting the subscribe, hitting the like button. That's the free way. And then if you feel like supporting the channel financially, because this does cost money, we do have memberships. It is supposed to be 60 degrees. It is 50 degrees right now. We had a really cool last 3 days here. Wednesday, the temperature only got up to 42 degrees. It was actually 28 degrees overnight, Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And although that is not a normal temperature for this time of year, it is expected. April is we call it the whiplash month here in the Northeast. It may not be the normal temperature, but it is a normal thing that happens in April. You'll have these wide whiplash temperature ranges, and we were just in the 70s, and then it went right down into the 20s, and then the last couple of days we've only been in the 40s. So today it will get up to 60. And it'll warm up again by, this weekend's going to be really nice. And then by Monday, Tuesday, we're looking at 80 degrees. So that's what happens in April. It's just whiplash back and forth until the season settles in. '81st Street. It'll be interesting to see if, as we get down, it'll be a while though, as we get down to Prospect Park, to see how the trees are looking. You can see in this neighborhood, trees are blooming depending on what type of tree it is. Some bloom out faster than others. That's a big truck. Let's cross over here. I always gotta walk by here and tell people about two really good Italian delis, and also the meat store here. But if you want some really good deli food or some really good Italian deli sandwiches for lunch, you got a couple of really good delis right here. I always gotta give them a plug, man. First one up is Papa Pasquale's. Yeah, with a name like that, it's got to be some good Italian food. And they got a nice big menu on the window. You guys could pause it. I will walk by slow, and then you guys could pause and read what they got. But this right here is Papa Pasquale's. And here is the menu. There we go. And then over here you have Leone, and they do have a website. So there it is, leoneheroes.com, www.leoneheroes.com. And then right next door you got Romeo Meats. I'll give you guys a look. That's Romeo Meats right there. I'm gonna get back across the street. Back into the sun. By the way, well, I'm not gonna say it yet because we haven't hit it. So. In case you're wondering what time it is, because this is going to be a long walk through a large section of Brooklyn. This is 9:30 in the morning when I started, so we've been doing this for 18 minutes. So it's about 10 until 10 o'clock in the morning here. See the light just turned red over there, and that's good because we won't have to wait long. It's Bay Ridge Parkway right there. We just like to call it 75th Street. You know, a lot of people get confused when they hear like local people rename the streets, but that's how we do it. We just keep counting, you know. So, but this officially is Bay Ridge Parkway, and this is also officially the first mile of walking. So we've just hit mile 1. We have 5 more to go now. Now this is the thing that screws up the time. You know, how far does a person walk in 6 miles? Well, how quick does it take Stride Warrior to walk 6 miles? And the problem with that answer is this: you get stuck at these intersections. So that's what you gotta do. I guess you gotta go back and you gotta subtract the minutes. You gotta subtract the minutes it took to wait for the light to go green. So I know we hit 86th Street, you had to wait a little while, so. Got the Guadalupe Church coming up. That is a church my sister got married in. They do every year, they just recently did it, every year they do a Good Friday procession. Super Outflation's been around a long time, by the way. That is a place that's been around a long time. But I was going to say, they do a Good Friday procession from St. Bernadette on 13th Avenue. From 84th Street, 13th, all the way down here, they do a procession to this church. Our Lady of Guadalupe. Guadalupe. And like I said, this is where my sister got married. Got a nice sun that went right next to the cross up on the top of the church. I'll tell you guys, my legs feel so energized for this walk. This is one of those days where I'm like, I could just keep walking. I go right into the city. If we kept going, all the way down Flatbush Avenue and eventually went over the Manhattan Bridge and into Chinatown in Lower Manhattan, that would be around 12 miles. Easy thing for me. We are going to do some of those walks, by the way. Don't worry. The only thing is, I have to make a decision. You know, the walking is not, walking for me is not hard. The problem is, and this isn't hard either, it's more of a technical issue, is the camera won't have any problem recording that long. I've recorded much longer, but the problem comes with the file size, right? So do I record in 4K for the whole walk? Do I do 1080? Because at that point you're talking file sizes. YouTube does have a limit on how much you can upload in a file size. Now, I think I kind of calculated it based on bit rate and time. And if I did like a 14-mile walk, that would come in over 3 hours. I would still be under the limit that YouTube allows for a file size. So that's the only thing I got to think about is, whether or not I'm going to shoot those kind of videos in 4K. I know some people might be yelling at the screen compression, but when you compress, you got to remember YouTube does its own compression. So that's the thing. You don't want to add compression and then get compressed again. That's a mistake a lot of people on YouTube make. They upload a video and you could go find those forum threads. How come my video quality is so low? That's because they probably use compression. A lot of people that get into filming for the first time don't even realize they have compression on. They have to really know the editing software. I use two pieces of software. I use either Adobe Premiere or I do use Power Director, which is actually really good. if you're like a beginner to intermediate, Power Director is actually really good. The only problem with Power Director is their support is horrible if you have issues. I don't need support, so I just figure it out on my own. But yeah, if you add compression and then YouTube adds compression, then you're gonna lose quality. There goes the D train. That train is actually going to where we're going. Not exactly in that area, but a little further down. That is actually how I'm going to get back home. I could get on a number train and just take it up to Barclays, but I'm going to do some extra walking after this. This is New Utrecht Avenue. This is the back of the 7-Eleven. We're gonna go right across 65th, guys. The light's gonna change green for me. Here we go. So this was another big road. I was hoping I didn't have to wait long. So that worked out. All right, we have made it to 64th Street. The first leg, like I said, 3 miles. Half of this walk is on 15th Avenue. And it ends, it's in the 30s. It's in the 30s, over by like 39th Street, 38th Street area. When we get down there, we're going to swing a short left, what I like to call a half left. A half left onto Dahill Road. So this right here is the New Utrecht Avenue train station for the N line. This is the, I guess, the south side. You transfer for the D train. The D train is to my left. Let's see if maybe we can see the station, the overhead station, when I get to this opening over here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is out there. You can kind of see it over top of these trucks. Always construction going on down here. At some point they will finish this building that they've been building for the last I don't know how many years now. But we are officially now in the Borough Park section of Brooklyn. give or take a block. We walked through Bath Beach and basically Bath Beach, Dyker Heights, Bensonhurst. That's, if you look on a map, that would be like a borderline, but we don't really, I try not to pay attention to borderlines too much. Get the it's the Brooklyn Queens Railway down there. We're walking over it right now. This right here is 60th Street. See if traffic picks up. Usually Borough Park, this far down, 15th Avenue, is usually not bad. But you guys know how, you know, all about Borough Park when I come here is when all the traffic picks up, you're going to see a lot of school buses. We just passed a good number of park school buses, so this is a school bus spotting territory here. If you're into spotting school buses, you got people that like to spot airplanes, trains. Well, over here, if you're into school buses, you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see big ones, small ones, old ones, the newer ones. Look, we got a cherry blossom over here. Beautiful tree, all blooming out there. Look at that. This is right on the corner of 58th Street. That's a nice big tree. Look at that. That's beautiful. Right? It's always the first sign of spring when you see these trees budding out like that. They're the first trees in this area that you'll see. They grow first. They're always first. All these other trees that we're walking by, these maples and these oaks, it takes them a little while. I am walking my really, no, I shouldn't even say that because it's not true. I am not walking my really quick pace, but I am definitely walking my I guess, normal, quick pace. I could walk faster than this, but I save that for, when I gotta make a street light or something or get around somebody. Like a car, when you drive, right? You're on the road, you might drive fast, and then you might lay that gas pedal down for a few seconds to get around somebody. Today is Friday, April 10th. Hopefully I'm not wrong on that, but I'm definitely not wrong on the day. It is Friday. Alright guys, this right here is 55th Street, and it is our second mile. We just hit mile 2. We are on mile 2, guys. 4 more to go. So, if you think about it, at this point, right? From this point on, it's my normal distance that we usually walk on the channel when I don't do the long walks. Two miles and 37 minutes. Factoring in waiting for traffic lights to change green, I would say we are walking a 15-minute mile pace. That's the pace we are walking right now when you subtract some of those minutes. Basically walking 15-minute mile pace right now. Quickest pace I've ever had walking a mile non-stop is around 13 minutes. 12 and a half, 13 minutes. Any quicker and then you end up like those fast walking people. I don't do that. You ever see those people that walk really fast and they wave their arms around and shake their hips like they do in the boogie? I don't do that. I just walk fast, that's it. Here we go, car horns, guys. If I didn't mention it, this is the land of car horns. Like I said, we're on 15th Avenue, so right now everything looks tame. Oh, my favorite thing, leaf blowers. I hate leaf blowers. Where is he? I gotta avoid those. I have allergies. He's across the street, so we're good. He's on the next block across the street. There we go. There is no wind today, so a good thing is he's blowing that around and it's not getting over here. The worst is when it's a windy day and you're walking downwind and they blow it and it goes right into your face. Actually, that would be upwind, so you're going up the wind, wind's coming towards you. That's the worst. All right, we have reached 50th Street. We are almost done with 15th Avenue. Walking through Brooklyn on a Friday, my first day walking back from my very small Easter break. I had to stop at a side street. Yeah, the synagogue right here. It's a big synagogue right here. Recenter the cam there. So Borough Park. I actually lived in this neighborhood for a very, very short period of time. 41st Street between 12th and 13th. I had my communion at St. Catherine's. We are moving fast through the streets, guys. When I get to about, so I'll tell you a little bit about how I feel when I walk these long distances. When I get to about 4 miles, which is the next one is going to be 3 miles, but when I get to around 3.5, 4 miles, at that point I cannot slow down. I get into such a rhythm, such a groove that it's very hard for me to slow down at that point. But then we have this, so I gotta stop at a light, so. So this area here is a little bit of a commercial zone. Start to see some storefronts down here, some little markets, shops. We are almost done with 15th Avenue. We are about to hit 44th Street, and 15th Avenue will be ending in, I want to say, 5 or 6 blocks. A little bit of a busy area here. See deliveries going in and out here. There go the car horns, guys. So we finally hit an area that had some busy traffic and busy pedestrian traffic, and got a little noisy down here. "42nd Street." If he's gonna wait, I'm gonna go. He's being nice. He's letting that car get out of the parking spot. I should have wore shorts. It's a little warm. I mean, I know it's not summer warm, but for me, doing these walks, I could have just wore the shorts with the jacket. "41st Street." We will stay on this side for the rest of the walk. We were on this side for most of 15th Avenue anyway. Well, since I got to hang a left, there's no point in going across the street because then I have to cross right back over. So I'm watching the light. It's still red. You got these delayed traffic lights where the don't walk will go solid, but it'll take like an extra like 20 seconds for the traffic light to go green. Supreme Lighting is the name of that company. And they got a pizza place over here, guys. That's a pizza place. Kosher pizza. All right, 39th Street. So this is the ends over here. The ends, not of the walk, the end of 15th Avenue. Now, most of the walk is residential. As you saw, it was all residential for like some little bit of commercial area. Stores and shops. We had to walk through a little traffic jam and people were beeping at each other, and if you hear a train, that is the F train on McDonald Avenue, not too far from here. We'll be walking up Dahill. That'll be right adjacent to McDonald's a little bit. I'm going to go in the street here to get around this person. All right, guys, this is it. 36th Street. And now we're going to run into Dahill, which is right in front of us here. You can see that road cut in front of us. We were actually, if you remember, a few weeks ago, we walked from this area down onto 18th. We did the long 18th Avenue walk. So now we're walking the other way, but we're going to go past... We're going to go past where we started over here. We're going to go up to Fort Hamilton Parkway at this point. And there is a Burger King. And when we get over to that Burger King, there's a big crossing, a big traffic intersection over there. We got to be careful. So that's going to be right down here. By the way, we have just hit the 3-mile walk. We are now halfway. We are halfway through the walk. And we are still walking a 15-minute pace. I know it says 54 minutes, but remember, you got to factor in. You have to factor in that we had to stop for traffic lights and stuff like that. Dahill Road, we just passed Avenue C. That was on my right side, and then on my left side here, we're passing some of the streets that end right up to Dahill here. Let's center the camera. So, by the way, with the new camera, you guys have heard me rant a little bit about the tracking with the gimbal. I actually spoke with somebody over at DJI, and they said it's just the way the new camera works. Where, you know, you turn the camera and it doesn't go perfectly center because it has a much... She's going to run with those. I hope those dogs don't have a heart attack. But anyway, he said something about the gimbal has this nice breathe-in mode, similar to when it's on the drone, because they use the same camera, type of camera on the drones. So sometimes it won't swing perfectly back to the center to give the cinematic look. Now, I told him, I said, well, you know, the Pocket 2 was beautiful. I mean, like, that thing would come all the way back to right about center. It wouldn't go perfectly center. I said, but this camera, I told him, it's just like, it's off. It's off by a couple of degrees. That's big when you're talking about field of view. So, well, we'll just have to deal with it. There goes where the old slot racing car place used to be, that I used to go to when I was a kid. That was Church Avenue, by the way. And I didn't mention this because, you know, I'm not paying attention, but we're in Kensington right now. We are in that neighborhood now. We're in the Kensington neighborhood. And we'll eventually cut through Windsor Terrace as we're getting through over to the park. And then I guess, you know, whatever neighborhood that is over there, Prospect Park. I just call it Prospect Park, so. I don't know, does Park Slope go all the way down? I'll let some of you guys, your local guys and girls, let me know. I mean, I gotta look on a map. But I guess, I don't know, Park Slope go all the way down to the Prospect Park? I know if we made a left, when we're walking on the west side of Prospect Park, you know, you're in Park Slope, but I don't know if, I've never known if there's like an overlapping neighborhood over there or whatever. You have like some overlapping neighborhoods on the other side, like, yeah, like Prospect Lefferts, Prospect Heights, stuff like that, so. I can see where we're going to turn onto Fort Hamilton Parkway up there. There's a lot of traffic up there, guys. If you look center of your screen all the way up there, if you like zoom in there, you see all those cars going back and forth? That's where we're turning. At the Burger King. Clara Street. We gotta, you know what? I want to walk through these streets. Yeah, there's like a small little neighborhood nested in here in between like Dahill and like 38th and 39th Street. That guy turned, I don't know if you guys saw it on the camera, guy turned around, I guess he thought I was coming up to assault him or something, I don't know. He gave me like a stern look, he was like, "Arr." It didn't look like I was walking right up behind him, but you gotta remember, I'm holding the camera right now with my left hand, which is off center. So I'm not, I'll show you, this is where I am right here. So I don't know if you could even notice that in the camera shift. That's center right now. And then I bring my camera this way. I don't even think you could notice it with the gimbal or whatever, but. This right here is 12th Avenue. This is where 12th Avenue ends, right up against the school here. Here comes the Burger King coming up. I'm pretty sure, I am absolutely, I want to say 80% positive that this Burger King used to be a McDonald's. Let's see if somebody corrects me or tells me I'm wrong or I'm. So here's the thing. There is a McDonald's further down over here. The McDonald's is not too far from here. So maybe as a kid, I remember riding up here and then over to the McDonald's, and that's why I think this was the McDonald's. But I always felt like this was a McDonald's over here when I was young in the 80s. But there is a McDonald's that's, you know, when you go over here on Fort Hamilton, you make a left. It's not that far away from the Burger King here. But I just always remember as a kid that this was like McDonald's at one point. Maybe I'm just, you know, mixing up my memories. That happens. Your memories get all jumbled up. I've had a Whopper in here a couple of times over the last 20 years. This is where I'm gonna see if I could cross over here. This is a really bad intersection. There's a lot of traffic over here. You got a Greenwood Cemetery across from us there. Oh man, I could smell the fries. Oh, Burger King, and they got plenty of seating in here. I'm gonna cross here. I'm gonna use the crosswalks here, guys. This is Caton or Catan. I always try to pronounce it. There's Greenwood Cemetery right here in front of us. We're gonna get onto this sidewalk because this is where we're going. This right here is Fort Hamilton Parkway. We're now going to walk into the Windsor Terrace neighborhood. We will hit mile 4 soon. Mile 4 should be around, I'm looking at my pedometer here. Mile 4 should be at the circle right outside the park. That's where we're going to turn again. We're going to get across onto the circle, and then we're going to walk along. We're going to walk along Prospect Park. This is McDonald Avenue. Take you up to that antenna. Big radio antenna. We just hit a little over an hour of walking now. We already passed the halfway mark of this walk. We hit 3 miles at Avenue C, around pretty much where 15th Avenue ended over there. That was 3 miles. And this is, I'll be honest, this is almost a perfectly 6 mile walk. It is a little over 6 miles by like not even a tenth of a mile. It's like, I think it came out to like when I did the measurement, it was like 6.03. So Windsor Terrace, that's where we are right now. Some dog walkers. Chino's Corner Deli Grocery. We gotta walk over the overpass. Some of my members will remember this area because when I finished the Ocean Parkway walk in this area, I gave them some extra walking over here. We went through this neighborhood. Here's the church. I am really busting it right now with the walking. I am really walking fast right now even for my pace. I'm starting to probably walk a 13-minute mile right now. This is Immaculate Heart of Mary Church. East 5th Street. All right, we are going to cross over this. I always call this over here, this is the, I always joke around and say, this is the best hidden train station. One of the best hidden train stations in Brooklyn. This is the Fort Hamilton train station. Can you see it? It's down there. It's like in the park, kind of. It's right down there. You see it right there, right in front of us, guys. See F and G right there. We are crossing over the Prospect Expressway, going to the Gowanus. Brooklyn Queens, it'll take you to Brooklyn Queens Expressway. So we'll stay on this little dirt trail for a little bit until this traffic line crosses by me, and then we'll cross over. All right. So the park is across over there, down there. And this is another one of those weird, wacky intersections. It's like a puzzle. You gotta figure out how I'm gonna cross. And I'll just go around the circle, right? That makes the most sense. Sherman Street. All right, guys, we have made it to Prospect Park. We just got to get across And also, we just hit mile 4. So we are at mile 4 now. We got 2 miles to go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just use a circle. There's no crosswalks that go all the way across over here, so we'll probably find a crosswalk over here. This building's address is 10 Ocean Parkway. And that is because, and I mentioned this on the Ocean Parkway walk when we ended over there, guys. Remember, we were at that big building over there that's being built? This is where Fort Hamilton Parkway, Ocean Parkway, and Coney Island Avenue all meet here. They all terminate right here. I'm gonna go right across. So now, for the last 2 legs of the walk, we'll be walking along. We're walking around the south side of Prospect Park and the west side. And the reason why I use those directions is that's just the general direction we're facing over here when you look south over here, that's all. I know some people are going to get nitpicky and say, well, that's the southwest or that's the southeast. We're in the south side of the park, so. We're heading to the north side of the park. We're going to take this up. Until we have to turn around the border of the park and go up to Grand Army Plaza. So this road is called Prospect Park Southwest. So there you go, guys. There you go. But where we're walking, we're not going to be in the southwest part of the park the whole time, because that would be over here. This would be the, right? Wouldn't that be the southwest part? Because we're walking now further up. Literally further up, because this is going uphill. We are going to Grand Army Plaza, which is on the other side of this park, guys. We still got some time to go. We got a couple of miles. We are at 1 hour and 15 minutes approximately. So, knowing that I don't have to stop for any more traffic lights, we should be doing about 30 minutes more walking here. That's a good estimate. We'll be walking for another 30 minutes. I'll give you guys some looks at the real estate on the other side of the road. And I have yet to slow down my pace. This is how I walk. I will walk fast. I usually, when I'm doing one of my really long hikes, I can walk this pace up to about 11, 12 miles before I start backing down a little bit to rest the legs. We're not even getting close to that. We're gonna be ending it at 6, so we're never gonna slow down here. Now, I used to be a runner. I mean, I still do run, but the reason I say used to be is because that's all I used to do. I used to run. I used to do a lot of half marathons. Never officially ran the New York City Marathon, but I did run 27 miles once, which is actually easy to do if you live in my neighborhood. Here's a little tip. Whether you live in my neighborhood or not, I'll tell you how you can run 27 miles uninterrupted. Here's how you do it. So, the bike path where I live right up on the bike path over there. The South Brooklyn bike path that goes from Caesars Bay to 69 Street Pier. So that bike path from Caesars Bay to the 69 Street Pier is 4.5 miles long. And that is a fact. I know some people like to say, oh, it's 4 miles or 5. It is 4.5 miles. I actually measured it because when I used to run, I used to be part of the Road Runners Club, and sometimes they would have people volunteer with the wheel, the measurement wheel. And I did it like 3 times, and it came out to 4.5 miles. But if you do round trip 3 times, you got 27 miles. And it's all flat ground, so it's not like the actual marathon. The actual marathon's tough because you're going to be starting, you're going to be going up the bridge, down the bridge, up 4th Avenue, down, you're just like up and down. A lot of hilly areas. It's not like level valley run, the marathon. But if you do 3 round trips, that's 9 miles times 3 is 27. I think what is the marathon length? I think the marathon length is like 26.5 or something like that. And I did that one time. I think when I did it, I was 20 or 21 years old. And even on flat ground, I can tell you guys, it wasn't so much, it's the next day. So if there's anybody watching that ran a marathon, they know what I'm talking about. Because, like I said, it's a lot tougher to run the 27 miles in the marathon. Because, like I said, it's not flat. It's not level. So it was rough the next 2 days. I had really serious muscle cramps for a couple of days after running that. And after that, I never did it again because I didn't need to prove it to myself anymore. The reason I brought up the running, there was actually a reason why I brought up the running though, and that is because a lot of people tend to ask this question, like if you do a lot of like long walking, if you do a lot of long distance walking and you're in good shape, can you does that translate to running? And I'll be honest with you, personally, I'm not speaking for everybody, but personally, no. Running is totally different than walking. There is a difference. So now, I will say this: I walk really fast, so I'm close to running, but there is a difference. So yeah, it would definitely help you one way or another. But if you want to get into running shape, it's a totally different animal. Because there's things called pacing and, you still pace with walking, right? Like I'm pacing now, but it's a lot easier for me to just keep one pace, Nice tree blooming out there. Look at some nice homes across the street. Those are some nice homes right there. On this side, you can see it's, still starting to get green. When I was in the military and I would come home from leave, I would do sprints up and down this, with like a big heavy pack on my back for training. Very nice day out. Definitely feels like we started the walk, it was 50. I would say it's definitely up around 60 now. It is a very nice day outside. Obviously, I'm a little sweaty because of all the walking I've been doing. All right, we're almost ready to turn. I'll give you guys a look at some of these tall walk-ups on my left side across the street here. They're not really big walk-up flights, though. They're short, I think about a flight of 5 stairs. This right here is 10th Avenue. You can hear that. That's a cardinal. Cardinal right above me chirping around. Oh, my camera just did a weird... Hold on a second, guys. That's weird. Well, let's try that again. My camera went into portrait mode. I guess because of the way I flicked the camera. I'd say this camera, there's so many weird issues with this camera. This is why I do not upgrade. A lot of people always want to get the biggest and newest things. It took me 2 years to upgrade to this camera. I had read the issues from people that were using this camera and I was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that for a while. But I had no choice. we had to upgrade finally. The other camera, the only problem with the other camera is fine. The only problem is that the battery is 50% depleted as far as life, so it doesn't hold the charge very well. But I had to stop the camera back there because the camera just decided to go into portrait mode. Yeah, subway station over here. This is where we're going to turn. The other thing about when you stop the recording, unfortunately now I have lost my counter for the first part of the video. So I can't keep track of how long I've been walking now. I didn't remember how many minutes that section of the video was. There goes the Nighthawk Theater. Project Hail Mary, Hoppers, Ready or Not 2, The AI Dog, The Drama, Exit 8, Fantasy Life, Undertone, They Will Kill You, and the Super Mario Galaxy movie. That is what's playing there. And we just hit mile 5. So we are on the last mile, guys. We are on mile 5. And we have 1 mile left. We're going to be walking up to Grand Army Plaza from this point on. This is where we're going. It always has that Central Park feel to it when you're walking on the sidewalk. Although I feel like these sidewalks are way bigger than outside of Central Park. Got a whole bunch of kids walking around in the park as a group, so they're going to be coming out here, I think, right in front of me. You could probably see them out there in the distance with all the little reflective jackets on. They're going to stay in the park, it looks like. They're going to the playground. I thought they were going to come out of the park right over here, but they are. Looks like they're going to the playground. Because I was about to make a decision. Do I keep rolling? You guys know how I am. I'm kind of protective of the kids. I mean, if it's 1 or 2 kids, like these kids in the back carriage, I keep the camera rolling. I can't keep turning the camera off. But, like, if I have to stop and they're, like, right in the camera, usually I cut that out. I had to do that a couple of weeks ago when we were in McDonald Avenue. I got caught up in a school as the kids were getting out. I don't know where that dog is running to. I think is he following the guy on the bike? He's not on a leash. And he's just running up. I think he's next to the guy with the bike over there, so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy on the bike is his owner. Because he is staying right next to that bike. By the way, this is 10th Street. It's an idea for the next walk. Maybe I'll walk down one of these side streets. We are on the final leg of this long 6-mile walk. We just passed 5 miles at 14th Street. We're now on 9th Street. We are heading to Grand Army Plaza right here, you know, at the other end of this park here. So this is 9th Street right here. One of 2 major roads in this area of Brooklyn. You've got 9th Street and you got Union Street. We'll be passing Union Street as well. give you guys a look at some of the real estate here. Here's some prime real estate on this road. Prime real estate. Expensive rents, expensive sale prices, and we are on Prospect Park West, by the way. Remember when I told you, where were we, on Southwest? You wanted to be really exact, huh? We actually walked this a while ago. I remember we were on that side. If you remember, we were looking at the homes and the apartments. Now I'm giving you a look of the same apartments or buildings, but from across the street. It's a different perspective. We got about 20 kids coming towards me here. Well, we're almost done, so this is the point in the walk. I usually, when I'm in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the walk, I usually like to say thank you all for tagging along with me. Look at those homes. But I want to thank everybody for tagging along 6 miles through Brooklyn. This is the Litchfield Villa. I believe that this is used by the NYC Parks. It's like one of their main offices or buildings. We are now going downhill, so it feels a little bit better now. This is the 3rd Street entrance. We are almost done, guys. I always love looking at this piece of property over here. Once the summer, in about a month, you won't be able to see this view from over here that good because of the tree coverage. But while the trees are still bare, we can see this. This is beautiful. That is a beautiful piece of real estate right there, guys. All right. We are coming up to the end, guys. This is it. Coming up right over here. I will be taking you guys right up to the arch. When we get to the circle, we get to that area, that's actually going to be 6 miles. This was a really nice walk, by the way, health-wise. Got this tall behemoth. Look at that. Look how tall this building is right here. We actually passed another one over there, too, so... some tall buildings over here, and then they're right next to these nice classic style homes. We're going to go right up to the arch, and that's where we're going to end it. It's right in front of us, so we can see it through the trees there. We have reached our destination. By the way, we just hit right here at President Street. This is President Street on my left. We just hit 6 miles. And this is a little extra walk-in to get over to this arch, as I was telling you about the point. I think it was like 0.03 or 0.07 or something like that. So it's basically almost perfectly 6 miles. Grand Army Plaza. We have made it, guys. This is it right here. We're going to stop right over there by the end of the curb there. I'm not going to cross over. I'll give you guys a 360. Guy almost ran right into me. I saw him, but I don't know if he saw me. I had to slow down a bit. All right, guys, this is it right here. We have made it. 6 miles of walking. We walked all the way from Bath Beach to Prospect Park, Grand Army Plaza. I'll give you guys a look around. I am going to keep walking. I am not going to get on the train here. I'm going to just walk up to, I'll just walk up to 4th Avenue. So for those of you that are members of the channel, stay tuned. Maybe in the next 12 or 24 hours, I will have a Extra Strides episode showing you that little walk, about 15 minutes of walking. For everyone else, I will catch you all on the next walk. So take care and bye-bye.